Rob Value. Bye-bye, Mrs. Rob Value. She still thinks I'm actually called Rob Value. I tried telling her. Anyhow, I'm the angry atheist. And what am I angry about today? I'm angry because I'm going to tell you some things and you're not going to believe them. You're not going to believe this first thing. You're not. Because I think I've figured out what kind of dog Michael Jackson had. And it's the same dog as what I've got. It's the same kind of dog. And I know what you're going to say. You atheists obsessed with evidence. It's like evidence. Can't I just say things and they're true? Can't I just make it up? You know, why are you following me? Take whatever you want. Just don't hurt the children. So this is why I think he's got the same dog as me. Because my dog gets very excited when it's time to go for a walk, and she's runs around everywhere and she keeps jumping up like crazy. And she's just the right height to headbutt me right in the crotch. And that's not ideal. So that happens about 8 to 10 times before I manage to take her out. So I have to defend myself. So I spend quite a lot of the time walking around the house with my hand on my crutch going, ow! Now this bit is speculation. One of his dogs might be called Hee Hee. Okay. Alright, something a bit more light-hearted now. I wanted to talk about atheism and religion. Now, some people, the point I'm going to make now, some people, honestly, I don't think they can understand it. It seems absolutely alien to them, so listen carefully, right? Some people seem to think that either you're an atheist or you're part of a religion, and that's it. No. You see, my decision on whether to join a religion or not is not dependent on whether any of it is true or the God is real, the stories are true, any of it. It doesn't make any difference. I'm not in it because I don't see any point to it. I think it's stupid. If it was true, it'd be even more stupid, to be honest. So why aren't I interested? Well, religions, by their very nature, seem to have to include things that aren't obviously true, aren't demonstrably true. Otherwise, they'd just be, you know, evidence-based facts. It would just be science. So no, they have to have ludicrous things in them. And like, what's the point of that? You know, I mean, I like imagination as much as anyone, but if you have to include made-up stuff, I'm not interested. And even if it isn't made up, I'm perfectly fine how I am. I don't need a religion. I don't need to be told what to do. I don't need guidelines. You know, I'm happy to listen to people and I'm happy to listen to arguments. If people want to tell me they think I should behave a different way, that's absolutely fine. But I want to know why. I don't want to hear because some weird creature says so. I'm not interested. No. I don't care what he says. If he's got an argument, he can come and talk to me himself. See? And they go, oh, well, yeah. Well, he can come talk to me himself, or he can fuck himself. Yeah. So people seem to think if they can convince me that God is real, I'm instantly going to join a religion. It couldn't be further from the truth. No, if I found out God is real, I'd go like, oh, that's interesting. I wonder what we can find out about him. I'd have questions about it, sure. Scientific interest. If there was some way I could interact with it, talk to it, sure, I'd do that, yeah. Am I going to worship it? No. I find worship a ridiculous concept, absolutely ludicrous. What on earth a creature that's normally described as a god is supposed to get at me crawling around on the floor, telling it how great it is? Does it need that? No. Does it want that? If it does, it's messed up, it's twisted. And people say, oh, it's giving thanks. No, it's a lot more than giving thanks, isn't it? When you thank someone, you don't thank them endlessly for the rest of their life for one thing they've done. Even if they're keeping the whole whatever this going, it was their idea in the first place, they wanted to do it, so fine. You know, I say, okay, thank you very much. You know, this isn't actually very good. I could have done a lot better if I was a god, but no, I'm not going to worship anyone. No one, you know. I don't worship anyone and I don't want anyone to worship me. So any religion that involves worship is straight out the window. It doesn't matter how true it is. So trying to convince me God is real, all that's going to achieve is get them to ask more questions. You know, what can we find out about God? And generally the answer is nothing, because, you know, there's no evidence to begin with to show it's there. We'd need some to find out about it, but there isn't any. So it wouldn't make any difference. If the Bible was literally true, every word in it happened wouldn't make any difference to me. I'd be rather depressed that there really is such a psychotic thing in charge of everything, but as it happens, it doesn't seem to make any difference. You know, even if that being is up there, he's either changed or he's not doing anything. Either way, it don't make any difference. You know, until he starts coming down and doing something, it's not going to make any difference. And even then, I'm not going to worship him. Even if he comes down and starts threatening me, I'm not going to worship him, because he's a fucking god. You know, I'll pretend to worship someone just to get away from them because I can trick a human. I've got a chance to overpower them, whatever. But a god, how am I supposed to trick a god? And it's like I've always said, if God is good, he'll be happy with me living my life as best I can. And treating people well, the things I know are real, people and animals, try and treat them as best I can. If he's not happy with that, and he wants me to be crawling around on the floor, or just doing arbitrary things he says for no reason, then he can fuck off. And if he's going to punish me for that, well, that's his problem, ain't it? If he's such a dick, then I can't trust him anyway. You know, if he's just going to tell me to do shit like that, and punish me for not doing it. I could do it, I could crawl around on the floor all my life, I could do things I think are wrong just to please him, and then he could go, that was quite funny getting you to do all that. Right, you're in the bin now, with all the other rejects. So no, maybe he'll respect me for having the balls to standing up and saying, no, excuse me, I'm going to do what I'm right, I'm going to think for myself. Yeah. So that does make me angry that people can't seem to understand that. I've explained that several times, like on the forum, over and over again. People don't get it. They're like, but if God's real, you've got to worship him. No. There's plenty of things that are real that I don't have to worship. You know, I don't understand this obsession that some people have with trying to find the biggest, most impressive looking thing they can find and throw themselves on the floor in front of it. I don't get it. I don't know why you want to do that. I don't know what it gets out of it, and I don't know what we get out of it. I wouldn't get anything out of it, I'd feel like an idiot. And this God thing, if it did get anything out of it, it would just be like massaging its ego, and you know, it's very human-like. You know, humans like power. Humans get angry when people don't do what they want to do, you know. I mean, I'm not a very angry person, but you know, these are all human things. Why is this God demanding worship? Why is it getting angry if you don't do it? It's stupid. It's, you know, it's just completely stupid. So I think that's enough for now. So you've got a long, long way to go after convincing me there's a God to get me anywhere near any religions. Just thought I'd lay that out there. Thanks. I'm Rob. I'm the angry atheist, and I'll say goodbye.